Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus Flash Manufacturing, New Home Sales, and the Oil Inventory Report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Okay, let me see. Let me just try and get my YouTube screen as good as possible so people can see the prices. And that should be better. I hope that works better for folks. Okay, let's get started. This is going to be, it seems like every day that we get here, it's just more and more difficult to trade. But look at gold. This is a gold report, and gold's down $100 today. $100. Um, it's gonna have an effect, most probably, on the way this news responds, because it's such an unnatural amount of volatility. And it's what's even crazier is we've seen $80 over the past couple of days. So gold is just unbelievably volatile. I mean, if you look at the first, I'm going to go to indicators and I'm going to put my net change display on points. All right. I'm putting it on points. Apply it and OK it. So net change display, which is a free indicator in NinjaTrader, gold calculates 10 ticks a point or a dollar, 10 ticks a dollar, $10 a tick, and gold is down $100 today. This is a trap trade. So will we get enough of a reversal um, or a pop on this news? My gut feeling is we just might get a no fill. That's I think that's very possibly the strongest outcome. We might get a no fill. The trap trade, it's not been great over the past 3 months. There's been 1 month where the breakout was a little bit better. Um, it took a while in March for the trap trade to work properly. Um, but I still feel that this trade, especially with gold down $100, I think we have a better chance for it to work as a trap. I've also tested bonds on this report, and I realize most members can't trade bonds on the report. And bonds aren't that great. I looked at bonds over the past, let me get my notes. I thought I made some extra notes. Let me see if I have them. I made some extra videos, but bonds were just barely target one. Now, I think gold is going to test the low here. It's really risky to do a magnet when you have $100 in volatility, right? You have $100 in volatility, and it just blew off the magnet, right? I was thinking it was going to go down, 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 straight down. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to just stick. We're getting ready for the open, right? So you got to wait for the open before you do anything. I would not do anything until the open. It's only 10 minutes away. I'm also putting bonds. I'm putting bonds on ticks with net change display. Now at the open, gold might make that magnet. It might. So I have a magnet set up here where if gold gets to 33.05 and a little bit higher, it could enter short if I want it to on a magnet. The beauty of the magnet trade is you don't have to take it unless you want to. You don't have to turn it on to be an automatic trade unless you actually physically turn it on to be an automatic trade by clicking the magnet entry button. So right now we can just watch it. And if price starts going back down, especially at the close, then we could deal with the magnet. Now, reverse continuation is also a possibility. Now, why is the chat not working on the stream? That is weird. I don't know, but it's not. So, for some reason, I'm not seeing the working chat on our YouTube stream. So, that's very strange. Let me just see something real quick. I definitely did not disable it. Huh. It might just be something about the way that I have OBS set up. It won't let me chat remotely, so I won't be able to answer questions on YouTube unless I see them. I'll try and look over. Okay. Anyway, so what are we going to do? What are you going to do with flash manufacturing? It has a history of being a trade that is up and down in terms of the different types of setups. We've never had a perfect setup for this trade. So you might, on a day like today where gold is so crazy, you might want to trade micro gold to be safe, or you might just want to watch the trade. What I would like to see is what's happening now. Gold is pulling up a little bit so that we have a little bit of room on the downside if we get a news result, that pushes price up a little bit and then it can reverse to the downside. Or it could go down and then pull back up. I'd like to just pull away from where we are now for the next 20 minutes or so, but I'm going to trade it. I'll take the risk in my prop account. It's really a prop account I do a lot of testing in. So if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. It's not a prop account that has a lot of profits in it. All right. So I'm going to set up two trades. Let's look at the DMM. We have our regular trade on this report. And I'm not trading the breakout because I just feel there's more possibility for a whipsaw. March was a whipsaw. Um, I will trade the trap. All right. I will trade the trap. It's GC 625, not 425. But look what would happen if you tried to trade for GC 0425. You'd have an unusable chart. So that would tell you check your contract. And if you just look up on top, it's GC 625. So GC 0625. First thing I'm going to do is I'll set up the trap trade. I'm adding a trap trade to the chart. The stop is 25. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. And then our activation time is going to be 9:44:55. 9:44:55. Position 1 is a 1. Position 2 is a 1. Triggering at 9:44:55. The stop is 25. Tier 1 is 25 ticks, and Tier 2 is 40 ticks. So we have a zone of safety of 65 ticks tier 2 plus the stop. If there's a move, if there's a move greater than 65 ticks on the news release, then we would get stopped out. I don't anticipate that. So I'm going to trade it in the prop account I've been using all morning. It's up a little bit. I'm going to label it Trap GC. All right, so we have our trap trade set up. We have a little bit of profit from Boeing this morning, Boeing earnings. And I'm just going to watch the bond breakout on a separate chart in Sim because, like I said, I haven't been that impressed with bond behavior on this trade. It's not horrifying, but it's not great either. It's mediocre at best. 944.58 on ZF. Bracket of 6. A target of 6. A target of 15. If my first target gets hit, the target 1 stop move will be break even -3, and the stop is 15 ticks. I'm going to apply it, and then I'm going to save the template. I'm going to call it Flash ZF, today's date, and save it. Then I'm going to put the time on 0 to just check the width of the brackets on the chart when you enable a trade by checking the breakout, by turning it on. I'm going to label it also BRK ZF. When you make a change to attempt to a strategy, you have to apply it. And now when I enable it, put my brackets at a manageable position, and trust me, I'm watching this magnet. I think the market open might turn this magnet on. It's all a question if you want to risk it. You never know if it's going to go test the low. I'm putting my time back to 9:44 on that bond trade. Apply, okay. And now I've got 3 setups. The Enter Now button would put you in the gold trade right this second, before the market opens. Going for a bigger stop. I think it's going to test the low, but I want to get out before the low on the open. Let's see if it works. The market's going to open in 30 seconds. Should push down. No guarantees. Market's going to open in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. See if gold pushes like I think it's going to. Okay, just made a quick $200 on that gold trade. I don't want to sit in a trade while we're waiting for flash manufacturing. That's one nice thing that the open can do for a magnet. You don't have to stay in the trade till you get to the low. In that particular case, I just took a $200 one contract trade. Okay? It may still test the low, but we're here for flash manufacturing. That's the reason we're here, and I've got something else to do. I want to set up a reverse continuation for gold just in case we don't get a fill on our trap trade. So I'm going to set up, and look, we did get out of that magnet trade well early, and we got in early using the enter now button. And the open can be very volatile, which it is. So we took what the market gave us and took it as a scalp, okay, which is what I was looking to do. You need a big stop when you trade around the open. And with full size gold and it's down $108, you can't use a 20 tick stop. You got to use like a 50 tick stop, and that's a lot of risk. It's $500 in risk, you know? So you got to be willing to take that kind of size to your risk. All right. I think it's going to still test it. It's going to still test it, in my opinion. But like I said, we're here for Flash. So let's continue now with the second setup on gold for Flash, which is a reverse continuation. Add another strategy to the chart. I can have three strategies on a chart. Call it reverse continuation. I'll trade it in the same account, just one position. I'll go for like a 30 tick target. And in this market, I'll use a 30 tick stop. That's my reverse continuation. I'm going to trade it in the same account, number 10. Label it reverse continuation. And now we have all our setups and we're waiting for Flash Manufacturing. Okay? Watch. I think it is going to ultimately test that low. That's quite a low. Over $110 sell-off in gold today. And it's not even that dramatic if you think about it. We were down, there's been days we were down $80. It's crazy. Crazy volatility. Not really going to get into the why at this moment. And there's always pretty big risk of this kind of a change in direction when it doesn't go as far as you're thinking it's going to go. Because at some point, it just has to stop moving down, right? And if you do look at the way gold's been moving, you've had some pretty decent sized retracements and then more continuations of the down movement. At 8:30 this morning, a little bit before 8:30, gold was at 43, we'll say 33.43. Since 8:30, it went down $38. That's pretty significant. Now, what I'm curious about seeing right here is if gold now continues back on its way down, it just shows you why you need a good size stop. It went from 33.05 almost, a little bit, not quite 33.05 to 33.15. It's 100 ticks. That's $10. That's 100 ticks. A 50 tick stop wouldn't have worked. These are very, very, very volatile markets. Also, you got some Fed people speaking. Waller's speaking. Hang on, I'm listening in my headset to hear what he says. Now, clearly, um, Trump was told to stop the Powell firing talk. He's going to destroy, you don't want to destroy the bond market. So, he's not firing Powell. He's in his office by law. And while that means less and less, it still would be a protracted legal battle to try and fire Powell. Um, Whether you like Powell or not, he has served our country. And I don't know if I like him, dislike him. I don't really care, but he deserves to be respected whether you like him or not. Watch gold now, because we only have 9 minutes to go. Last quarter, not last quarter, last month. So I did a couple of videos with bond tests, but I'm just interested in watching the behavior of gold here. So here were the bond videos. I tested the last couple of months gold, sorry, bonds on flash manufacturing. And you could see you've got poor liquidity bursts, and they often lead to bad fills at the top of a candle. That was February. And then eventually it did follow through though. So February would have been a workable bond trade. March it shoots down, and then if I remember my testing, I don't think it followed through very well. Remember that first target is only 6 ticks. It's not a huge target. So it basically hit target one. Market open, bonds. Now, what was just something must have just been said. Something must have just been said to cause that movement in bonds. So, look, everybody, with all these Fed people talking, this is probably not a safe trade. Probably not an advisable trade. I mean, there's commentary about tariffs, so I'm going to probably recommend that we sit out this trade. I don't like to ever do that, especially we're streaming on the internet, but I'm just watching the price action. This is not normal. We've got three Fed people talking. There's tariff talk. It's not safe to trade. So if it's not safe, you don't trade. You have to be able to recognize the moments to trade. Now, I would not have survived the stop to make that magnet. The only way I would have had that magnet trade work was if I traded it twice. That's full honesty. Had to trade that magnet twice. The first time, look, we had a profit of $300. If you didn't take your profit, it would have then stopped you out because it went 100 ticks against us. Then, if you waited for the actual magnet entry, you would have had a magnet down about 20 ticks above the low. So, depending how you traded it, it could have been quite a trade. But you would have had a stop also if you didn't get out with a decent profit prior. Okay? Trade management is very, very critical. So I'm going to turn off the trap trade. We'll watch the news. I'll trade the trap trade in sim, okay? I just don't think this is a safe market because of all the commentary. According to the White House, they're considering slashing China tariffs. You just can't trade now, folks. You just can't. Now, is there a short in gold? Very possibly, yes. Because gold is going to sell off on tariffs getting less because it's gone up so much on tariffs getting higher. So let me just fix the trap. I don't want to trade it in the real account. There's too much risk. We'll trade it in sim. Because all of this news renders the trade not meaningful because we're not trading flash manufacturing. Does everybody understand that? We're trading the news, the news commentary. And yes, you could trade reversals and continuations on that type of news, but you don't want to trade a setup that's based on people not talking, saying critical things that are going to move the markets in a radical way. And that's what we're seeing now. So you've got to be smart. You have to know when to step back. And right now, we're going to step back. Now, we do have new home sales at 10 o'clock, and it's the same situation. Um, So, Calvin, I just don't want to blow the account up. I'm just trying to teach. Calvin is saying, come on, man, at least trade it on a prop account eval. And I think you're kind of kidding me anyway, saying the evals are all on sale. You know, I'm really trying to teach overall good trading habits. I am trying to teach that. So I'm not going to trade it. The market's not safe for our type of trade. And it's not that often that we don't take a trade, but it's been the case. It's been occasional. It's been occasional that we've done this with the current situation going on. So we've got a sim trade on bonds, and we've got a sim trade on gold. Now the market's calming down. Now it seems like now there's been a comment at 9:43, 9:42. Let's see if there's any other comments, because maybe I'll trade new home sales if the market calms down for 10 o'clock. All right, so now we've got a minute and 10 seconds to go for the news. Flash manufacturing. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me that Boeing stock could be going up. It's mind-boggling. It just shows why we should never, never trade trying to guess the direction. I mean, we did it with Tesla yesterday. Looked to take a short only, and it wasn't the wrong direction. We just didn't get much of a burst out of Tesla. It was more like a melt, and it wasn't a very long melt either. And their earnings were not on time. They were more than 3 minutes late, which really complicated that trade. All right, 10 seconds to flash manufacturing. Now, it would have been a great trap. It burst up. We would have had an opportunity to cancel and move the stop to safety with a little bit of profit. And then it popped up again and could have been a small profit depending. Let's see where gold goes. If it goes back up, no. So it would have been really, it could have been, would have been, should have been. It's very choppy. Look at the way it's chopping around. But it would have been a profitable trade. All right. It still would have been, but you can't. The lesson here is there's still no denying it wasn't a safe market. But I'd much rather trade a trap trade than a breakout trade in a crazy market like this. Because look at bonds. Popped up a little bit, they've changed direction, and they would be a loser. Okay? Bonds would not have worked. And that's why I absolutely, not only did they have mediocre behavior, but today they were not safe. And when that move took place, that just confirmed that we would not trade bonds on this news. Okay? Gold with the flash manufacturing, and I'm not even seeing the news. Let me refresh the page. Sometimes the news just doesn't show up. And I'm not interested in logging in at the moment. So let's take a look at the news. So, was this news also late? No. It was the services were down 51.4 versus 52.6. Manufacturing was up and the composite was down. And what we saw in almost every flash manufacturing services report overnight was mixed data. None of the reports appeared to have news that was the same on all of the elements making up the news. And that makes for good trap trades. That makes for good trap trades. Now, even with this crazy market, the trap trade would have worked. So I may trade irresponsibly for new home sales. And the problem, the extra risk with our new home sales trade is as a trap trade, it's sort of like flash manufacturing. It's been kind of mediocre. It got stopped out recently, the new home trap trade. Let me check my notes. It got stopped in January. Um, and it's a small trap trade. So there's always that possibility it'll burst too far. All right. But I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to be crazy. And I'm going to trade new homes as a trap trade. So let's get it set up because we don't have a lot of time. It's at 10 o'clock. And I'll keep the YouTube stream going until New Homes is over. So, what are the lessons here? One good thing that came out of all of this today was we had a great mini magnet. We didn't wait for it to go all the way, and we were able to grab 30 quick gold ticks. And if you just took a normal magnet after the pop up, then that worked as well. You didn't have to even worry about that 100 tick retrace if you just waited for the magnet to be normal and fill you about 20 ticks before the low. So there were two potential magnets that could have worked. The risk with new homes and gold is this sell off. So I may reevaluate this in a minute. It may not be safe to do new homes. But I guess it's like Calvin says, it's a prop account. What the heck, right? Let me reset all of the sim setups here. And let's see what we've got going. We've got a gold reversal continuation from our last trade, okay? We've got a gold reverse continuation from our last trade. It's just one contract, a 30 tick target, and a 30 tick stop. How far is gold going to go? If you want to trade low risk gold, Put MGC 0625 on, and you could do some reverse continuation trading using micro gold so you don't lose hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you get it wrong. Put that reversal continuation on. Okay, the magnet already took place, so you're better off just use a reversal continuation. And you could put two contracts on if you want. Two contracts, one or two, go for like a 50 tick target and a 70 tick stop. All right. Reverse continuation. With this kind of movement in gold, that's not very much. And then label it, right? Label it MGC REV. And then if you're going to trade it in a live account, go ahead, choose an account to trade it in. Okay, I'm just watching it really. I'm not really planning on trading it at the moment. There's too much tariff talk at the moment. There's just too much risk, probably for new home sales. There's probably too much risk. Gold's down $134, so you got to be a little bit careful taking a live trade, right? With gold shorts, it's gone very far. You've missed the move, if you get my meaning. Sometimes you're better off not trading, right? That's the reality. Sometimes you're just better off watching. We do have a trap trade. When markets are normal, we do have a trap trade for new home sales. Every now and then it'll be a breakout and it'll burst through the trap. But overall, it's been better as a trap than as a breakout. And that trap is rather small because historically, new homes has not been moving that much. So I'll show you what the original setup is. It's one position for position one position for position two. It's a 9, 59, 55 trigger. I would probably trigger this 57 today because of the volatility. We don't want to get filled before the news. The stop, normally it's 20. I'm upping it to 25. Tier 1 is 10. That's like nothing on a day like today. Tier 2 is 20. I'm labeling it GC trap. And with all this talk and news, I really don't think this is a safe trade. That's the reality. If I were going to trade this trap today, I would increase my outer tier to 30 and my inner tier to 15, or even go 15 and 35. Rather not get filled on one of the tiers than get stopped. So it's a very volatile market. Increase the tiers. And Besant is going to be talking about Besant's going to be talking at 10. So that's not going to that could affect our oil trade. So let me go over the setup for this trap. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. Activate at 9:59:57, 25 stop. Tiers of 15 and 35. I'm going to be crazy. That's a lot of movement for a new home sales. You have a 60 tick zone of safety, 35 on tier 2 plus 25 on tier 1. I'll give it a shot in my Buell Knox that I just made money on. Let's see what happens for the fun of it. Calvin, you're definitely a bad influence. Enabling the trap. So we have about 3.5 minutes. You've got a reverse continuation also on all the charts. On all the charts. Now, I want to be filled short. I don't think I want to be filled long. I mean, there will be some upward retracements in gold today, but most probably because of all this quote unquote positive tariff news, um, gold may sell off. It may just continue to sell off. It's pretty easy to blow up an account in these kind of markets. So, what's the cost? Are you willing to pay for a reset on a prop account? That's why when you buy a prop account, you want to make sure you buy them when they have great sales. So that if you do blow up an account, you can reset it for like $39 or whatever, for $20. Um, if you were trading cash in these markets, unless you're really good and really smart, there's good opportunity to lose a lot of money. So there's a lot to be said for having prop accounts. They keep us stop us from being our worst enemy and losing our real cash. And that's one beauty of prop accounts. And, obviously you've got this carrot in front of the horse that allows you to think, hey, maybe one day I'll trade well enough to take money out of a prop account. People are taking money out, but it's a lot like real trading. Most people are not. Okay, we got a minute and a half. I never thought I would agree with RFK Jr. about anything, but food dye, can't argue that. The food companies are killing us. They are literally poisoning us. Wood in Parmesan cheese. Horrible oils that aren't even food that they put in all of our food. They need to be stopped. They are killing us. Why do you think we have all these diseases and cancer? And you think it's the food besides destruction of the environment, the two greatest causes of cancer. Science is there. You don't need to be a genius. The science is there. I know that's a dirty word these days. Science. Okay? Get ready. Nine. Let's see if we get a trap trade that allows us to get a profit. Here's our orders. There's the orders. Very choppy, very choppy. I did not want to be filled short. I might hit the close button on this trade, you all. Oh my God, it just blew down to the downside. I did not want to get filled to the short side. Holy crow. Did not want to get filled short. Did not want to get filled short. Taking a reverse continue. Reverse continue. All right, everybody. We're going to get ready for oil. I want to thank everybody on YouTube for joining us. Come back. Come back for the next trade. Next week we'll have more trades. Hit the like button on your way out, and thank you very much for joining with us. Um, be careful. in these markets, they're crazy. Be careful in these markets. And we'll see you next time on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later.